Hi, I'm Dr. Terry Silkman. I'll apologize to a lot of you. I've been MIA on Facebook Lives for a while. I had a little veterinary manpower change at the hospital, so I've been involved a bit more. Lucy's been MIA as well. We did hysterectomy on her about 10 days ago, and you can see she's fully healed and back to her normal self now. So, a topic for today is how do you save money on your health care, whether it's veterinary in this case or human. It's been our experience that there's massive amount of benefit to preventative health care. And so I thought I'd start with the question today about why do we spay pets? Well, I bet 90% of you, if you answered the question, will say, first off, unwanted pregnancy. And it might surprise you to know that unwanted pregnancy had almost nothing to do with my decision to do hysterectomy on Lucy. The reason that I did it is because we understand that canine reproductive physiology is radically different than just about any other mammalian reproductive physiology. And because of that, dogs have about a 30% chance or a 1 in 3 chance of developing uterine infection. That, like your appendix, if it gets infected, if it doesn't get dealt with, usually will cause rupture of that organ and spillage of bacteria and bacterial toxins out into the abdomen, which will cause death of the patient if you don't deal with it. The other thing that we know is that if you spay dogs before their first heat cycle, before their ovaries become active, they don't get mammary cancer. And the other reason that I spayed Lucy was I didn't really feel like I would have a problem with her becoming pregnant when I didn't want her to. She's a member of our family and spends more time in the house than I do. But if she were to get pregnant, and I guess I'll borrow a line from Jurassic Park, life does find a way sometimes, even when you're being clever about how you manage your pet. Well, they don't have the choice to get unpregnant. They have to get unpregnant. And so what have I seen in 30 years of veterinary work? I have seen that it costs, if you, these days, if you do the job right with blood work and pain management and good surgery technique, it might cost you $400 to $500 to do a spay. It costs you, as a loving owner, probably $1,500 to $2,000 if your dog gets pyometra and if you have to do that surgery under the high stress of increased anesthetic risk because your pet is sick and increased surgery time because you have to be much more careful and have to do a much larger incision and take a lot of care of getting that infected fragile uterus out of the body. If your pet doesn't have the budget to have a C-section when they get pregnant, well then you've gone from about a $400 to $500 procedure to about a $1,500 C-section. If your pet is unlucky enough, and about 10 to 12% of female dogs left unspayed will develop mammary cancer, well, just like breast cancer in ladies, that has potentially an uncurable aspect to it. Sometimes it spreads to different organs like lungs and liver and kidneys where you can't get rid of it. Even if you can, you're going to spend at least triple to quadruple what that spay would be. Same thing happens in a multitude of other different things, and I actually wrote an article several years back for a regional paper. We'll probably try to post that in a couple of days, and if you're interested, you can private message me on Facebook or reach me otherwise, and I'll be happy to get you a copy of that text. But what's the value of presenting it to you? Well, I hope that it gives you good information in the sense of how you make decisions for your pets. And obviously, those of you who are perceptive will understand that we're also basically segueing into human health. I won't try to debate with you whether health care should be a right or a privilege. You can go on CNN or MSN or any place else you want to go and you can listen to the talking heads about that. What I will say is that when people tell me, boy, the cost of good supplementation and good diet's pretty pricey, my sense is just kind of like the sense of why do you do a spay? Is it unwanted pregnancy or is it preventing a lot of other major health problems? The cost of not being able to go to work, well, about 8 years ago I was diagnosed with prostate cancer. And the unpaid medical bills, in the sense of what insurance didn't cover, was probably, I don't know, $3,000 to $4,000. the loss of work for a month for me was about $20,000, and for a lot of people that would sink the ship. Fortunately, we have a good business, and I had good associates at that point who could keep some revenue going, and I was able to move through that with probably less distress than a lot of people who still have to be a single income earner, in the sense of you work for somebody else, and essentially when you're not working, you're not making any money. I think there is no question that the value of good health is becoming more and more and more important as we fight through some of these how do you manage healthcare issues. And I hope it's of good value to you in the sense of giving you a perspective from somebody who's worked really kind of all of his life in helping nurture things. For some of you who know my backstory, I was a farmer before I became a veterinarian. Well, what does a farmer do? They take little things and nurture them into hopefully health and prosperity. What does a veterinarian do? Well, if you do the job correctly, my job, as I see it, is being an asset to an owner in preserving that relationship and the health of the pet and that bond between the pet and the owner for as long as I can, at the least possible expense and the least distress to the owner and the pet that I can. I hope that you all are thinking that maybe you can rethink your decisions if you question what good health care is worth and what good prevention is worth. And there is no question at all that good preventative veterinary health care will cut the cost of your vet bills by 50, 60, 70, maybe 80%. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Until next time, this is Dr. Terry Silkman, health and wellness expert, and we try to bring you information to help you live your life in sixth gear.